What's up everybody? Don't mind my cable, it's really short and I need to get a new one. But anyway, welcome back to Low Luxury Archive, where we are still diving deep into the archives of Demna Gvasalia at Balenciaga. And today we are looking at a pair of sneakers. And not just any sneakers, my friends, these are the X-PANDERs. Oh yeah, maybe the most memed on sneakers of Demna's of all time, but also like really hype. People seem to really like these once they've actually gotten their hands on them. So I'm super psyched to check them out. And we're not just gonna check them out, we're gonna see the collection they came from. We'll get a close look at those details, of course, and then we'll try them on. I'll tell you how they fit, how they feel, all that sort of stuff. But we'll also try to either match or beat that original runway look. Let's dive in. Yo. Before we get too much further, subscribe to the channel. I make tons of luxury and streetwear content. And also, if you're looking for deals on luxury and streetwear, check the description. I've got some of the best sites with all authentic stuff. Check it out. So the X-PANDERs, where on earth did these come from? Well, they actually came from not that long ago, from spring 2021. And this one, rather than a runway, was more of a kind of lookbook, of course, being during the pandemic. Things got a bit crazy there for a while. We can see we had, I believe, are these the rhinos or the tractors here? Yep, we've got the rhino derbies, which are another grail shoe of mine. And this is really within the modern era of Balenciaga, where we've got this super slouchy tailoring, stuff like that. It's got more of a refinement, but also more of like a disheveledness than Demna had ever had up to this point. So this is really, I'd say, a turning point for Balenciaga, where we really start getting into the modern era, if you will. Like, this is the kind of stuff that Demna is still making today. I'm pretty obsessed with this like parka coat. I've seen this for sale some places and I've always been very, very intrigued by it. But that's a story for another day, potentially. I've never seen this coat stole in my life. I guess the stockist didn't really buy that one. Oh, wait, we almost missed it there. There is our first appearance of the X-PANDERs. They actually look quite similar to the runners from the front, but you can tell the difference because these don't have the numbers on the front. The runners, they have the size kind of like sharpied in on the front, but the X-PANDERs do not. So from the front, a very standard kind of like classic running shoe silhouette, but it's really the side angle where things get crazy. But all these photos are head on, so you don't get this side angle. But now the question is, which look are we going to imitate here? Which one are we going to try to either match or beat? That look is crazy. I don't know if I can pull that one off. I don't have any robes that look like that, do I? Whoa, that jacket is insane. That's one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. I do like this one. This is really cool. This is it. This is the one. Some classic Balenciaga dadcore, because they really pioneered that angle with the triple S, and now this look is really going back to it. So I think I'm going to have some fun with this one. There it is. Let's do it. So now that we know where these sneakers came from, let's take a closer look. All right, here we are. We finally made it, the unboxing. And we can see that this is in one of the classic gray Balenciaga boxes. It's kind of a slightly glossy gray. You can see the light bouncing off of it there. And we also get Balenciaga right in the center, but this is not embossed. You cannot feel those letters. So it's a much more standard box, I would say, than the like white textured ones and stuff like that. The most important piece of the box is this card right here. So on this card, there is a sticker down here in the bottom right, and we can see we've got the model number right up here. And you'll also note that this sticker is quite different than the older Balenciaga shoe stickers. The typeface is different, how bold it is, the type of picture they put on it, all that stuff is different. But we've got a model number. That's a great way to check if this thing's real or not. Model name, X-PANDER. This is the fabrication, I believe. Mesh rubber, colorway, all black, and size a little bit bolder than the rest, European 43, which generally translates to a US size 10. And now they used to just do like outlines for the picture, but you can see here, it's full color. But on top of it, it says for internal use only, interestingly. And underneath that, all caps made in China. That is where these are made. That's where they have the best like technical sneaker making ability for crazy tech shoes like this. So if you see made in China, do not be worried. That is correct. You may also have something like another sticker here, but that's the retailer sticker. Not every box is going to have this, and if yours does, it may look different than this, so don't worry about that too much. The big one is this, and make sure that all of these look correct and the same as they do here. And that just leaves us with one step here. Time to open the box, okay? So it's like a hinge at the back, just opens right up like that. The first thing we get here is a dust bag, which is really more of like a backpack almost, you know, like the kind of things you'll get for free at like a 5K or something, with the little drawstrings on the sides and these metal rivets here. Pretty high quality, feels like a nylon or polyester or something like that. And down at the bottom in white, we get Balenciaga, that big bold white logo. We also get some extra laces in black, always good to have, and that's just some gray paper. All this gray is the same color, just that wrapping it up. There's also one more thing in the box, and these things are always good to look at because they're the types of things that the fakes often miss. So this is like a multi-fold pamphlet here. Let's see how many panels it is. Ooh, it's a lot. So we got Balenciaga here, and you can feel each of those letters. So that's panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. And this is just the same message in a whole lot of languages. The appearance of these Balenciaga shoes is the result of a specific, deliberate treatment process. It is impossible to guarantee that this will remain unchanged. Marks or irregularities may stand out. However, they should not be seen as flaws, as they are inherent to the artisanal manufacturing process. So it's basically saying, hey, these things are going to be distressed, marked up, messed up. That's how it should be. Don't complain to us. But every pair should have one of these pamphlets as long as it's new. And then under this stock paper somewhere, I'm assuming, are some sneakers. Let's see what we can find here. Oh, yeah. It's like dirty already. I kind of love that, how scuffed up it is. Very artisanally scuffed, you guys, okay? Damn, these things are nutty. It really, you can see why it's called the X-PANDER. I think it makes perfect sense now, doesn't it? It's also like some go-go gadget stuff, you know what I mean? Wild. And the most important part, the silica gel, you guys. The silica gel. I'm just kidding, it's all about the sneakers. Okay, so where do we begin here? Wow. You can see the elements of distressing all over the place. Like, look at this midsole, the dirt in there, and the scuffs. But it's all very, very intentional. Also the molding, that is crazy. The molding on these pieces, the different textures. What is going on? All right, well, let's talk about the upper. You get like rubber and mesh. I don't think there's any leather here. Well, this feels pretty leathery. No, that's like a foam. That's a pleather right there. So we've got this panel. It's mostly between the mesh, and you can see it's like this crisscrossing design. Some go horizontal, some go vertical, and then this very glossy rubber here going throughout, very kind of like Asics style. Look at the texture of this going through here, and also look at all of these stitches. Look at how straight they are, how tight they are. All that stuff is super important. The vamp is mesh. You do get this more modern Balenciaga logo up here, these two lines there. Right here you get this, like I said, kind of like pleather cover with all these dashes here. So it's 7 right there, 4 and then 3 kind of alternating, and same on this side. You'll also see this kind of flips up and you get that same B logo right there. The inside of the shoe is much the same as the outside, with those crisscrossing like rubber panels here over the mesh. And then at the back, you get that size stitched in on this patch here. This reminds me of the old Triple S, like how they'd have those at the toe. That stitching is very similar looking. You get a nice pull tab here at the back of the counter. And the lace closure is very tight, I would say. These are laced up really tight, going right up to this tongue here, which you can see is really squeezed in like this. And then right up there, you get this embossed kind of glossy black Balenciaga right there. That's really nice. All right, let's talk about this sole and midsole now. We started looking at it a little bit, but just look at all of those layers and shapes here. I really like these like lines going up in rubber here. It looks kind of messy, but really clean at the same time. Then in this kind of like bubble here, you get X-PANDER in white. Man, this is so nutty. And now here's how it all comes together at the bottom. You get Balenciaga there, you get a size in there. Man, that texture, all of those indentations, the different, like this is like a matte, and this is super glossy right here on the inside. And then look at this. Look at this whole unit. And then right here, where that kind of like spring action sole, it all works. It's very stiff though. I can't press in on this with my hand. Maybe if I step on it, I'll feel the compression, but right now it's very stiff. And then moving up there, you've got all these treads. And then like I said, it just flips up right at the top here. Also note the shape, how it kind of flips up at the back here as well. And you do get a Balenciaga debossing in the rubber at the back there. You can see this has a little bit of a curve to it. Now let's talk about like the ankle and the heel and all this stuff. So we got a little bit of mesh here, and then actually a different type of mesh for the back, which is much less soft. It's a bit rougher. And this kind of flips up a little bit for the back of your ankle. It grabs you really nice. And then inside here, we've got our insert with a white Balenciaga logo, super clean there. When I take this insert out, you can see that logo there, and it's got a bit of a texture to it. It also flips up quite a bit on the sides. A couple little cutouts here. And then it's got a bit of a square toe, which is really interesting. The bottom of this is like a matte black speckly gray, some lines like that. But then right up at the top, you get your size and gender. And if we look inside the shoe where that insert was, you'll see a little cutout hole. Pretty much every Balenciaga sneaker has that hole there, and it's a really good way to legit check. This is kind of like a light colored, wooden colored foam here. I can really press into that. You can see that the stitching right there is really clean in black. Here's the inside of the tongue. You can see the inside is like a glossy mesh, and it really kind of forks up here. It has a shape to it where the edges come up much more, and the kind of size tag is much deeper in there. So I could go on like all day about these, but there are just too many elements to get into in too much depth. They're just so insane. Just look at all of these details. I don't know. I think the only thing left to do is to put them on and see what happens. All right, so let's take another look at that original runway fit and figure out what we're gonna do here. So we need jeans and a button down. Those are our main elements to go with these here. For a button down, I wanted to do something kind of interesting because I feel like the shirt in this looks pretty interesting. So let's do something interesting ourselves. And we're gonna go with this like hooded plaid Craig green harness shirt. It's hard to even explain, but you'll see when I put it on. I think this thing's really cool. For the jeans, I think our Fear of Gods are gonna do some real nice work here. And I don't know, I have to say I'm not really feeling the sunglasses here. So we're gonna go with a baseball cap instead. We're gonna go with this rude leather cap, which I think pairs super well with these shoes. Like, just look at them next to each other. I think that just works. So fairly simple look, all things considered. I'm curious to see what happens. And you're about to find out too. Let's do it. Yo, these shoes are crazy. And I don't think you can tell from looking at them, but they feel much more at times like wearing a pair of boots, like big heeled boots, than they do a pair of sneakers. Because what happens is when you step, you get a full strike. Your heel hits first, and then the entire rest of your foot follows all the way through, ending at the toe. So you get an entire strike and curve of your foot going down. And you do feel compression at that heel with each step when you're full weight on it. They do compress to a degree. It's just very, very stiff, and you wouldn't be able to do it with just your bare hands. But with your full body weight, it does compress, and it's a very, very interesting and quite comfortable feel. Another thing about getting that full strike is that you are never going to get like creasing at the vamps here, or at least not to an excessive degree. They really have no reason to ever crease in that spot, which again always helps with longevity of these sneakers. Sizing is pretty interesting. I would say they fit generally true to size, maybe even the tiniest bit tight, but they definitely fit smaller than the runners, which I would say fit oversized. But if you're considering what size of these to get, I would say go with your normal size and you should be safe. Now, really the biggest thing left to figure out at this point is just what kind of outfits to wear it with. I do think this one works quite well. I wouldn't have expected them to work with like a button down and stuff like that, but it's got the perfect balance of casual and formal. And again, these shoes, I would not have guessed it. Like, this is not where my mind went looking at them, but wearing them, they really, really feel like a boot. You'd be very surprised. Wearing it feels like a sneaker boot hybrid. It's wild. But obviously, in the end, these things are worth archiving just because of the crazy tech elements here. No one has ever made a shoe like this before, and they probably never will again, unless they decide to make an Expander 2.0, which would not surprise me. Like, I think you could do some really cool iterations on this silhouette. But do they look good? Do they look goofy? Are people insane for buying them? Or are they the most important sneaker ever released, or at least in the past 10 years? I don't know. You be the judge. Let me know in the comments what you think of these, because I myself still don't know what to think. But I can say I am at the very least intrigued by them, and I'm going to try to wear them when I can, because they're just so effing unique. So those are the Balenciaga X-PANDERs. Crazy, right? Well, take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.